I interviewed four-time platinum producer Zypitano during Monmouth University's Blue Hawk studio meeting. He's going to be breaking down how he got his start in the sample making industry and how young producers can strategize how to expand their network. Let's get right into it.
I'm Zypitano. You guys can call me Zippy for short. I'm a four-time platinum music producer, sample maker. Had the 12th most streamed single in August of 2021, which is like the craziest thing to me. Funny enough, I grew up in a small town in the middle of nowhere where there's no music influence of what I'm doing right now. So if you see like most of the artists I've worked with, like I've worked with Future, Lil Baby, Wave, Lil Durk. I listened to like a few rap songs out of nowhere. I downloaded the free trial of FL Studio and I tried to like just learn and do whatever I could to make music. It was pretty bad. The first year I was making what I would call hot garbage, terrible music. And in about July, August of 2018, I was like, I need to take this seriously. So I started making beats like properly. I watched a whole bunch of tutorials and then I was making beats. And then towards the end of 2018, start of 2019 was when people were realizing what Beats did, which was basically they'd make samples and send it out. We basically realized that we don't have to be in the room with an artist to get a song with them. And we were like, we need to tap into this because this is a system that nobody's using. Nobody's aware of this. People still feel like if you're not in America or if you don't have the connects to be in a specific room, you won't be able to land a major placement.
So how did you, like from starting to make your samples and sending them out to people, what was like the one thing that made your first dollar?
Here's the thing, right? So making the samples, making the music is the easy part of everything. Second, you make music, you have to figure out who to get it to, especially if you're a producer. If you're not in the room and you can't play the beat or sample or something for an artist or somebody who's directly connected to the artist, you have to figure out how to get it to that person. The honest truth is you can make terrible music, but if you know the right people, you will make money, you will have the cuts, you'll have credible sources under your name for production credits, everything. First dollar off of music came from a YouTube check when I produced the song called Rags to Riches by Wave and Lil Baby. I was 17 at the time. And when the song was going to be released, their lawyers from Wave's team reached out to me and they're like, we need you to sign this, this paperwork, this is your percentage, this is the amount you're going to get. And I had no idea how any of this works. I was scared. I didn't tell my own dad about any of this. I was a minor. And the team was pressurizing me to sign and get the paperwork out of the way. I signed the paperwork and I was supposed to get an advance fee from the paperwork. But the second I signed and sent it back to the lawyer, the record label, Wave's team, his A&R, his manager, everybody ghosted me. So I'm seeing the song do well and I'm not getting paid for it. And then eventually this company called Create Music reached out to me. And they were like, yo, the song just dropped. Besides just your royalties, you can also make money off of YouTube views that people see or anytime somebody uses your music in a video. If you produce it, you're entitled to get money off of it. So I signed like a small YouTube monetization deal with them. They helped collect my YouTube money. They took a small percentage. And then my first check I got was, I think, I'm not sure, I think it was about $1,800. And I was shocked because that's the first time I'd ever seen money from music. I had never sold beats before. I had never made money off of kits, nothing. Business side is very complicated, especially if you don't have a lawyer. There's a very good chance you will get screwed over. The way these contracts work is they're specifically using words where normal people without like law knowledge can understand what it says. When a team is being on your ass and they're responding to get your signature, and the second you give them your signature they ghost you, you're just left and it's just like you don't know what to do. There's nobody who can really help you. So I was like, okay, I guess this is it, this is my fate, I'm not getting any money off of this song. I've been fucked over, I've been screwed, and it's just what it is. Things did get better later on. I did have people come and manage me and fix the situation up for me, so that was pretty good.
Would you recommend someone that might not have any placements or like big hits? Would you recommend them looking into getting a manager before getting that big hit?
I think if you don't realistically, the thing with managers is they will take care of your money and stuff, but they're also going to take a cut. Industry standard is 20% where they take a cut of whatever earning you make. It doesn't matter if they helped you make the money or not. If you have a manager, If you make money, they're going to take 20% regardless, right? So if you're still coming up, you don't really have cuts, or you're just working on yourself and your music, you don't really need a manager. The only time you realize you need a manager is when you're in like a situation where business needs to be handled by someone that's not you, someone who has the power to negotiate and someone who has the knowledge to understand certain things that you can't.
Do you want
Yeah.
to talk about how you got that first Rex or Riches placement and what you did to um, kind of like network and just like get the thing all together?
Yeah. So for some more backstory, I grew up in a small town called Rubeis. Not a big music scene or culture there. No like artists, producers. I think I was the only person in that town doing whatever related to music. So when I did start making music and start making samples, I realized that I don't really have anyone to send it to or work with. Um, so that's when I realized networking is important. So that's where Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, SoundCloud, all of these came in play. So I found a lot of like other producers on YouTube, found a lot of other producers on Instagram. I tried to reach out to all of them and I was like, hey, I'm a producer from so and so. I'm just like I've trying to like collaborate with you. I have some samples, I have some melodies. Can we work on some stuff? I realized immediately, no matter how big or different the person is, the chances of them responding were very low. And most of the times I didn't get a response. So I was like, even if my music is good, they're not going to give me a chance to listen to it. So how am I going to work with them? So that's when I realized that making the music is the easy part, networking is the harder part. So what I did do was I downloaded the trial of Photoshop. I taught myself Photoshop in about a week from a couple of friends, like just some basic stuff. And then I just started like putting random images together, making really crappy collages and crappy artworks per se. And I messaged the same people who didn't respond to me before. And I was like, hey, I'm a graphic designer and a producer. I would love to give you free artwork. And boom, everyone responded. Everyone who didn't respond before, now everybody's responding. Realistically, because an artwork, like a graphic design artwork, is an exclusive piece for a person based on what they want. So if they're getting that for free, that's higher value than a pack of samples that they can get from anyone. I didn't talk about music. I was just like talking about free artwork, whatever. And all I told them was, I'll give you the free artwork for whatever you want. If it's like a YouTube banner, if you want like a Twitch stream edit setup, if you want a kit art, or if you want like a song cover for an artist, whatever you need, I got you. And they loved it. We worked on the idea. I took their ideas, I visually represented it, gave it to them, and I just told them at the end, when you post this, just give me credit and tag me and let people know that I did the artwork and that I can do free artwork for other people.
So would you say there's kind of a strategy of like the type of people to reach out to, as in like followers? So like maybe you're not going to reach out to someone with 50,000 to 100,000 followers, but like, you know, maybe the producers that have, you know, bigger placements, but you know, they might have like not as many followers, because a lot of times you send a message and they don't even see that you sent them a message at all. Like it's in the request folder because like, you know, they're too famous for you, type thing. So like, what do you think about that, and like who to actually reach out to?
I would say it doesn't matter. Followers are just a number. Everybody checks their request at some point. They will check. So message everyone. If they don't respond, that's okay. You'd rather shoot your shot and then get rejected rather than not shoot it and assume you're going to get rejected, right? That's what I did. I was DMing about 120 people every day in 2019. The free artwork thing. I was like, I'll give you free artwork, free artwork. Sure, like a lot of people responded who didn't have the connects or who didn't have necessarily anything much to give back. But I did make genuine connections with people who introduced me to other people. So in a way, it just helped me increase my network like crazy. So message everyone you can. Doesn't matter. Don't judge if people have placements or not, because trust me, there's a lot of people who don't talk about anything, but they're locked in with specific artists and they're working day in, day out. They're their main, a huge artist, main producer. So many of the people that I know, they keep everything under wraps. They don't like to post about stuff. So it goes both ways. The famous producers are gonna like have the stuff. Even producers who have no name, have nothing, they're gonna have stuff too. So when you're still coming up, work with everyone. Don't discriminate. Just work with everyone. Because that's what I did. And a lot of people who I work with are now like in super big positions. And you know, just because I've known them from a very long time and I worked with them before, we just have that level of trust with each other, and we're just like gonna have that respect for each other as well. So anytime it's like if I'm in their city or if they're coming around or if they need things for a specific artist, they're gonna reach out to me and be like, hey man, like, you know, I need this for Drake, I need this for Tory Lanez, you know, like send me some stuff. So that's how it is.
Do you recommend like producers like me and everyone else here to go into the beat leasing route with BeatStars, or do you think we should spend more time focusing on just like networking and trying to nail placement?
I feel like there's both ways, right? It does become a lot to manage. So I would say if you're making beats and posting it on YouTube, might as well put it on BeatStars. It's like an extra $20 a year.
So some of these producers on Instagram, they leave their emails in their bios as like a little sector. You could just like email them. Would you say it's better to maybe reach out to them first and request to, say something like, hey, so I have your email in your bio. Would it be cool if I sent you some beats?
Yeah, mainly for beats, for people who are artists or related to artists. If they have an email in the bio, you can send beats. Sometimes it's going to be booking emails where they won't check the beats. If it's a non-booking email, send them. You never know, they might listen to it sometimes. If it's producers that you want to send samples to, always ask first, because producers are a little bit stingy at times. Like they'll have an email up there, but it'll probably be that their intention was just for it to be up there for contacting them about business stuff. So if you send music to that email, they're probably going to get mad. So always try to reach out to them first. Be like, hey man, I want to like collaborate. Like, can I send you... If nothing, don't talk about the email in the bio. Just be like, can I send you samples? If so, where can I send it? Right?
So in terms of making samples, what's kind of like you sit down, you're at your computer, like what's kind of going through your mind? Like what's your strategy of making your samples?
So the way I usually make my samples is I go off of kind of like a mood when I start. I see what energy I want it to have. I specifically love making samples that have high energy, that make you want to dance in a way. Like not dance, but like make you want to like move, So I just lay down like a synth bass or like a sub bass or a bass guitar or something. And then I build off of that. Or some other times I would be doing something random and I'd have an idea for a melody, like a melody riff that comes in my head. And I just keep singing it, and then until I go back to my computer, I keep singing it till I make the exact MIDI pattern of what I'm singing and then build off of that. So yeah, I feel like honestly, when it comes to making samples, just make whatever you want. Don't try to make something specific, because that will limit you in certain times. Sure, for starting, yeah, you can like start, like I want to make a dark sample, whatever, you can start. But once you start, just go where you want to go. Don't try to put yourself in a box.
Hey, what's good, Zippy? I actually do have a really important question. In terms of like VSTs and plugins for like synthesizers and any instrumentation, what is your go-to when making samples?
Okay, you're not gonna believe this, but my entire computer is 400 free VSTs. I only use free VSTs. Spitfire Labs, beautiful. Spitfire Labs is amazing. If you have storage on your computer, get Spitfire Labs and get every pack that they have. It's probably going to be about 30 GB of sounds. Every sound is beautiful. One of the cleanest sounding whatever VST for any instrument.
So you said you're based out of Toronto. Do you see that being like a benefit, like that benefiting your career as opposed to staying in India?
Yeah, it does. So when I was in the town that I grew up in before, nobody makes music there. I'd never been into a studio. I'd never been in a room with a person who makes music. I was just in my bedroom making music alone. Nobody knew what I was doing. Nobody knew the like whatever was going on per se. And then my managers, the people who got me my money, they told me to move to America, which was my initial goal. But the tuition fees for an international student to come to America is 70 grand a year. And if I have to get a college degree for 4 years, that's almost $500,000 plus cost of living, everything. So that was not viable for me. So my managers told me they're both from Toronto. Like they took care of murders upcoming in Toronto. So they're like, come to Toronto, we'll make sure you're set up fine. So instead I moved to a school in Toronto so I could do music and school. Yeah, so it's helped me a lot because believe it or not, Toronto has one of the craziest music producer scenes. I think besides LA and maybe Atlanta, maybe even New York, Toronto is top 5 for sure. Because you have producers for every major artist in this city, every genre, and you won't even know it. You have songwriters, everyone's in the city. Like you'll walk into a studio or a camp at once and you'll just meet people you didn't think you'd meet. And it's wild. I didn't think I would be here. And it's helped me a lot because all the people I work with right now, I prefer to work in person rather than sending stuff out. So I've just been focused on creating and building up with Toronto artists, Toronto producers. So yeah, it makes a huge difference.
I have a question. Have you ever like found yourself in like a creative rut where you kind of like run out of ideas, and in that scenario, like what helps you?
All right, so I used to be burnt out a lot before. I haven't recently, but that's because the way I work is I take breaks. Taking breaks is very important. Even if it's like you're working on something, I'll just go start cooking something for a couple of hours, go for a walk, whatever, come back. Like come back to a beat, let's say, right? I'm working on a beat for a couple hours. I go take a break, come back to it. As soon as I hear it for the first time after I come back, I can already hear 4 mistakes, 4 things that need to be changed or things that can be improved. So give things time. Don't try to sit and finish things right then and there. Same thing with a song, same thing with any type of music you're making. The reason why you get burnt out or you feel like you're in a creative slump is because you're creating too much without the proper intention or direction.
I want to thank Zypitano for coming on here to give his insight on his beginnings and how he came to be a 4-time platinum producer. If you guys want to see more videos, be sure to subscribe to my channel and follow my Instagram page for even more exclusive production content. See you in the next one.